Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and it's our very, very special Geelong Galaxy United themed episode of the podcast. It's our third for the season, and my next guest is someone who I know very well from a previous coaching stint here in Geelong. He was the previous coach one-time coach of the Geelong Soccer Club, and he's now the senior coach of the Geelong Galaxy United Club, Jake Butler. Jake, welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Now, mate, we mentioned that you've coached in the past. You coached Geelong, and now you're coaching Geelong Galaxy United. Let's talk about the Galaxy so far. Unfortunately, today when we're recording this interview, it was a 2-0 loss against Clifton Hill, but it was a pretty tough game, and they are a tough opposition.
Yeah, for sure. We knew they were going to be physical, to be fair, and I think we got caught out in the first 10 minutes with that. So a little bit disappointing. I think the first goal was very, very soft. After that, I thought we got into the game quite well. Kind of did what we wanted to do, but just couldn't quite execute. Lacked a little bit of quality when we entered that final third, for sure. So a little bit disappointing. We tried to push a little bit at the end there. Obviously, changed formation, went a bit more attacking, and nearly got some reward. Again, just lacked that little bit of quality, that calm finish or something like that, that last pass. But yeah, disappointed the second goal we conceded from a set piece, so that's disappointing as well. But overall, okay. But yeah, disappointing result for sure.
Yeah. But last week it was anything but. It was a good start, a good win against Ringwood United. Also here at home, so it's 1-0, 1 win, 1 loss at the moment. Early days yet, of course, but the VPLW competition is such a volatile league because each year there's so many personnel changes and you really just don't know what you're up against. And we saw quite a few clubs move up to the NPLW. Some of them dropped down to state league. What's your take on the league so far after 2 rounds? Have you had a chance to look at some of the other teams, whether it's YouTube highlights or practice matches? What are you expecting this year?
Yeah, look, I think, to be fair, this is going to be the best the VPLW has been. I think every single team, if you look at their team lists, they're full of NPL players, and some of them like established NPL players as well. So every single team and every single game is going to be tough. I think everyone will be able to beat everyone, but it's definitely the strongest the comp's been, I think. And from what I've seen from Ringwood and Clifton Hill, that's definitely the case. They were a good team. Ringwood also had really, really good players there, and they were set up really well by their coach. So yeah, it's going to be a very tough league.
Well, the guys at Football Victoria who look after the draw have been very kind to Galaxy. I think it's the first 4 games or 5 games are at home, so it's an opportunity to get a good start. Or is that, on the flip side, are the expectations really high to now get a good start because later in the year you're going to have a lot of games on the road?
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that, to be honest. Yeah, because if you don't bring in the points, then there's a bit more pressure on it in the second round, isn't it? But it's always tougher going away. So yeah, when I saw that, I wasn't that happy with it, to be honest. But yeah, look, every game's we approach it the same. We want to win, so yeah, a little bit disappointing. We wanted to try and maximise points here.
Now, mate, you've coached senior men, Geelong Soccer Club at a elite level, at a high level, and now you're coaching senior women at Galaxy, both at an elite level in their respective fields. How do you approach it? Do you approach it in the same way as you're coaching the boys as you're coaching the girls, or do you approach it slightly differently, and how?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and everyone addresses this in their own manner, but look, for me, the standards stay the same, and expectations and what we kind of do remains the same. And like the girls have been fantastic, to be fair, really taking that on board. But definitely with the men, obviously they watch a lot more football. Their life a lot more focused around football than the female sort of players. So yeah, definitely have to tailor training a little bit to adapt to all situations. Whereas in the men's game, you can put them in a scenario they kind of know. They've been there, done that sort of thing, and probably not as much in the women's game. So yeah, you've got to really be a bit more detailed in trainings. But in terms of standards, and that's always the same.
Now, I'd sort of seem to think, and just as an observer, you go to a men's game, and if they've lost the game, it's the end of the world. They've taken it really badly. If they've won, they're celebrating like they've won a World Cup. There's a lot more emotion. There's a lot of passion, but there's a lot of swearing and a lot of testosterone. Whereas with the women, it's a different sort of a game. Or is it? Is it completely different in the change rooms in their approach towards the game?
definitely in the change rooms, it's different. You don't get that same sort of passion and the pressure that the players put on themselves. That sort of, you can really feel that when you're in it. So definitely different. But on the field, like their coaching staff today were pretty boisterous. I don't know if you heard, but and
it's
the girls
crazy, dude.
The girls get stuck into each other as well. You know, so on the field, once that whistle goes, they're all about it. But definitely the vibe off it, and that's
and as a coach, do you then approach that in a different way? Do you have to kind of explain yourself a lot more? Do you have to kind of justify moves and things like that? Whereas with the men, you probably wouldn't. It would be just like it'd be taken for granted. I'm the coach. This is my decision. Or how do you manage that?
Yeah, look, when you make decisions, you just got to inform the players as well. If a player misses out, they kind of need to know why. You know, you need to tell them what you want from them, what more they can do. So yeah, definitely just bring it down in detail to them. That's individual chats, little things like that. So yeah, a lot more in terms of that, one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that, and that's a really good lesson for coaches of female teams, whether they're female coaches or male coaches. It's that approach, how you go about it, because I've seen too many coaches at junior level, they kind of approach it in the same way, and you get some girls in tears and they just don't understand why that's the case, but it is the case, and you do have to look at it different ways. Now, having an assistant like Ryan Horrocks, who's very, very experienced in the women's field here in Geelong, he was the coach of Galaxy last year, and he's also been involved with Geelong Rangers and Lara United. How important is it having someone like himself and his father, Tony, who's the reserves coach as well, part of that coaching network or coaching core, if you like, here at Galaxy?
Yeah, it's made life a lot easier, to be fair. They've obviously been around the women's game, as you said, for a long time. So they're quite experienced in how to deal with what we just spoke about. So it's been great having them around. And yeah, we just sort of pick each other's brains a little bit if we need to. And yeah, I've noticed that they really have tailored their way of coaching to the female stuff like what we just spoke about. So yeah, that's been great for me as well to bounce off that, because I've predominantly been in the men's game. So yeah, it's been a good mix.
Yeah, and look, and we talk about the competition in the VPL1, and there's some NPL players, and some of those clubs are desperate to get into the NPLW division, and they've got money. They've got lots of money. Obviously, here in Geelong, we don't have that issue. We don't have or that luxury, I suppose. We have to rely a lot more on generating our own players, developing our own players, and look, judging by the juniors, how they're doing really, really well at the moment. How do you go with the younger players, those players that are on the cusp of senior football, and they've got great talent, but they're maybe not quite there yet?
Yeah, the junior program here is flying at the moment, and the under-17s especially have got some really talented players. It's just a shame we don't have the under-20s NPL team here.
Yeah, is there talk of that eventually happening down the track, and is it just purely a case of just not enough quality at the moment and you'd spread it too thin? Is that the reason?
I think the quality and the numbers are there. It's just obviously you have to be in the NPL to get that under-20 spot. Okay. Yeah, so that's the sticking point. So it's a bit of a bridge too far, almost from the 17s to the senior VPL stuff. But in saying that, I actually believe a lot of those players are capable, and definitely we're going to be introducing that throughout the year and giving a lot of chances to those that are performing really well at that level.
Awesome. And talking about experience and knowledge and that, Emily Sutcliffe, former captain, and she's such a experienced person, is also in the coaching side of things. Having her there still at the club, that must be absolutely fantastic. Who are some of the other players in the leadership group as well that some of the younger players look up to?
Yeah, I mean, Em's been fantastic. Obviously, she's got a fantastic CV when it comes to football. So having her in and fit as well is a massive bonus for us. We've also got the likes of Jade Feeks, who's a Geelong girl that's been playing NPL that we brought back in. She's been fantastic. And then we've got a few others, Mona Enza, Maddie Kapalika, Layla, that have all sort of been in the NPL system as well. So we've recruited quite well in terms of that. And
you mentioned Layla, that's your daughter, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you find that? Like, or how does she find that? Dad's coaching her, not at a junior level, but at an elite level. Is it a bit different? Is it a lot harder than, say, coaching them at a junior level?
Yeah, she hates it. I'm probably too hard on her. and I sort of use her as like a scapegoat sometimes, which is a bit mean. So I've always got to flicker a little bit of pocket money or something like that.
Well, if you're watching this, your dad's basically admitting that he's in the wrong. No.
So yeah, it is quite difficult, but I told her she had to come here and prove herself, and then she's got it done. So it's worked out well.
Yeah, I'm sure kids are just in the end very, very appreciative, very grateful. And speaking of kids being appreciative and grateful, these days it just seems to me the young players, the young elite players, have got so much that probably generations before them didn't have, and especially in the female side of things. We spoke to Aaron, and he mentioned some of the sponsors as well with regards to recovery, professional recovery, and all of those allied health services as well. How much emphasis do you put on that? The physiotherapists, the recovery sessions at pools and things like that, the strength and conditioning coaches, not just the football side of things, but everything else that is involved as part of elite football.
For sure. And something that's very important, for a squad going forward, playing 22 to 26 sort of games. It's very much needed, and that's definitely something the club needs to improve a little bit. We do have it, but probably not to the level that we need it. So that's definitely, we've been talking about that for a while now, that we need to improve, and the club's really working hard to try and implement that properly. And also, like, if you go and watch an NPL game, you'll see how much support staff and things like that they
absolutely.
have. So we're a little bit underhand in that regard. But the new board and Aaron, as you mentioned, now are all about it and trying to do the right thing. So the future's looking good.
Fantastic. On that note, mate, we wish you all the best for this season, and certainly for 2026 as far as Geelong Galaxy United is concerned, but also personally as well. It's great to have you back in Geelong coaching at senior level. We need players like ex-players like you, and people and coaches like yourself. So it's great to see you back on board.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Good on you. That was Jake Butler, coach of the Geelong Galaxy United senior women's team. When we return, we'll be chatting to one of the players who also has a role in the administrative side of things as well, Monica D'Alessandro. She'll be joining us after this break.